Hey everyone, welcome to Startups on Demand, sponsored by New York Tech. Today I've got the awesome Eyal Rosenberg, the founder and CEO of Nipendo, as my guest. Eyal, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Omri. I'm very excited about it, and thanks for the opportunity to answer some of the questions you have on your plate.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about Nipendo. Can you walk us through and talk a little bit about the technology, about the product itself? What does Nipendo do?
Sure. So Nipendo is turning static application into dynamic and action-driven environment. We're all familiar with the picture of thousands of people working in shop floor pre the robot era. And next picture shows the same plant with the robots where there's only a few people in the shop floor. And the analogy with Nipendo is the same, but instead of the people that are working on a shop floor, you can imagine people that are sitting in offices with hundreds of emails and phone calls a day on the procurement department, on the AP department, on supply chain department, and all answering calls, following up on order lines, and doing all the tedious work around making sure that the entire procure-to-pay process is fulfilled properly. And there come Nipendo, and with our software bots, we are replacing the majority of these activities. And now replacing these activities do not mean that these people are going to be laid off. The opposite, these people are actually elevated to a higher position where they can use their time to do the more interesting and the more valuable things that people can do, which is source for better suppliers, negotiate prices, improve relationship with their suppliers, and do a lot of other activities that can long-term benefit the company instead of doing the tedious manual work of following thousands and tens of thousands of lines and products with shipping deliveries, mismatch of invoices, and so on. So that's the analogy from what we're doing, and it's less visible, but it is very impactful.
So obviously a lot of things are happening on the back end of things, in the back end systems of procurement for a lot of companies. And if we're looking at what kind of companies you guys are working with, we're talking about enterprises, right? That's kind of the range, mid-size to enterprise.
Yeah, that is right. We are targeting companies, medium to large enterprises that face these challenges of hundreds and sometimes more of people that are working to fulfill processes, and companies that obviously with the high volumes of procurement and the AP, they are facing a lot of complexities, and their processes are more complex than smaller companies. And within those organizations, the key stakeholders could be the CPO, could be the global supply chain manager, could be the head of AP and process or a process improvement from the IT. Those are the people that are typically leading the implementation and the solving these problems within the organization.
When we look at the current market landscape right now, when we look at some of your competitors, where do you think Nipendo differentiates from them, and what do you think is kind of your unique selling proposition in compared to companies like Tipalti, Ariba, Coupa?
Yeah, so those companies that you mentioned and some others in this space, These are companies that are targeting the source-to-pay processes, where the main focus is the sourcing side, and then from the sourcing side, they're taking it to the procure-to-pay. Those companies are typically addressing the indirect spend, which is more simple, and it is easier to address. Our main focus is on the direct spend, where the complexities are higher, the volumes are higher. Imagine a supplier that is working on 1,500 lines of order, blanket orders, have hundreds of shipping per line, and hundreds of invoices, and everything should be automated in a way that it is, as I said before, the bots has to understand all the process and to reconcile it automatically, and to make sure that everything is going touch-free and error-free between the buyers and the suppliers. And we are actually in that area, we are very unique, have solutions to all these complexities, and we typically not pitch for rip and replace any of these solutions, but to augment in multiple ways. The first is to enable massive rapid supplier adoption rate, and we are getting to 90% plus of supplier adoption rate versus these companies that are getting to less than 20% of the indirect spend suppliers. The other thing is to accelerate B2B integration, where we have plugins to over 50 packaged ERP systems of suppliers, where it is a practice of half an hour to 2 hours to install and to connect. No major complexities there. It's just a plug-in, you install and connect, and you can connect to your customers, regardless of who is the customers and how complex these processes is. So with that, we're getting to 85% of the total transactions coming from suppliers are going through B2B. And this is phenomenal, because the long term, if you think about it, it's a play between buyers' ERP systems and the internal system and supplier ERP systems. And our platform facilitates this capabilities, enabling suppliers to work from their internal systems, from the mobile app, from email, from portal, and all is interconnected and synchronized in a way that they can respond in the best or the easiest way that is most comfortable for them to respond, and yet everything is synced together. And with all these functionalities and capabilities, we tend to augment existing systems and not replace them. So meaning that suppliers that are working on the sourcing side, and then smaller suppliers that can work on these other alternatives, we're not touching them. We are addressing all the heavyweight big suppliers with high volumes and complex processes of procure-to-pay, helping them to interact seamlessly through all this variety of options with Nipendo.
So recently, you guys kind of launched a new technology that you guys are referring to as Procure-To-Pay 2.0. Can you kind of explain a little bit about that, and what is the transition here? What's the big jump?
Yes, so this is if you think about it, I'll explain how disruptive this technology is. First of all, we turn the system fully self-service. So a potential customer, can download the plugin to his, say, SAP or Oracle system, set it up through a template of flow and questionnaires that will set up all the business rules, all the policies, all the compliance rules, and so on. And then launch it on a test environment or on a production environment, or start with a test and then convert to the production environment. And it doesn't end there. Now, we also added a whole module that is doing the supplier onboarding self-provisionally. So suppliers will get all new and open orders through the system with invitation to connect. And from there, the entire supplier onboarding roll-up and opt-in will done automatically with full transparency and management capabilities to the customer, so that within 6 months, so the implementation of Nipendo self-service will take 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit more if there's more complexities, but then all suppliers onboarding will take additional few months, and you got over 90% of your suppliers connected and participating in the process and working with you, and that's a revolution and a complete disruption to this space. But when I think about what is the real benefit there, is once you've done that, it's leaping enterprises to an era that alternatively they would have to invest a lot of time, a lot of money, and ongoing personnel and experts to maintain. And that's the AI and the robotic environment, where we already set everything up. And that's, I think, the next generation, the P2P 2.0, where we've already built this environment, and this environment is highly scalable and highly replicable within different enterprises. And enterprises that are coming and running the Nipendos P2P 2.0, they leverage all these years of setting up best practices, processes with all the robotic process automation, all the AI, all the deep learning that we already aggregated across the years, and enjoy that and immediately leap to the generation of today's world, where AI and deep learning is supporting the processes, and robotic process automation is automating a lot of the manual work.
That's a big leap, definitely, and a disruption for the industry. My last question, I guess, for you today is, like, I want to understand, like, how the process was like, building the technology, building the product. Of course, you're not going to get into all the, small, needy details here, but if you can give us a little bit of an overview of, how you guys kind of build up your platform, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, so our story is interesting because we had the vision right from the beginning, and we saw the market going towards SaaS, robotic process automation environments. And it was very hard in the beginning to build a technology that will be able to be so scalable and so robust and matching all type of industries. So building it was kind of, if you think about it, we did a lot of things under the surface, and we had to invest a lot of time and efforts under the surface, and nobody could really understand what are the things that are required in order to build such a scalable and abstracted platform that will solve so many types of vertical industries and so many different enterprise with all the complexities of the processes. But once we've done with building the under the surface technology, now in the last 2 years, I would say, we are on a play where we already build things that are on the surface, and that's so exciting because we can offer these amazing capabilities that starts with implementation of a few weeks, turns into fully automated processes with self-reconciliation of invoices. So AP is not just getting invoices electronically, it's getting the invoice electronically in any way, and making sure that it's compliance with all the definitions and validated across all three-way match and everything that is within the process, even the most complicated things, and putting it into the system and doing all the discrepancy resolution with suppliers, fixing errors automatically, and getting 99% of invoices into the system. So that's, as an example for AP, how robust and how scalable the platform is and how different it is. And now that we are, as I said, above the surface, we can add a lot of things, such as the ability to see everything and to enable the customer to do the entire onboarding of suppliers and get to over 90% of supplier adoption, right? On a self-provision way, like self-service, managing it automatically, the system, the process governance is governing the onboarding and making sure that all suppliers are participating, explaining suppliers and guiding them through the process. And all these capabilities are thanks to the build up and the investment, the huge investment that we did on the technology, which back then nobody could really see or understand.
Wow, that is amazing. Eyal Rosenberg, thank you so much for providing a lot of value here, and keep up the good work with Nipendo. And hopefully we're going to hear about you guys more and more as as time goes by.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and looking forward to the next session.
Awesome. Talk soon. Bye-bye.